Previously on TVSins.
I would name you the Hand of the King.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Reading. Is there a rule that fluorescent lighting is not allowed to function correctly in anything related to the horror genre? Show is immediately testing my patience by starting with a jump scare. I know you want to dip a little bit of the King's horror into your nostalgia milk, but just know you are already on thin ice. Seriously, there's no stairs option in this highly fucking dangerous laboratory area. This Demogorgon is clearly trained in cinematic tension because it waits a full 20 seconds before attacking its completely helpless prey. Who still has a sprinkler going in November? The night of November 6th, 1983 was below freezing in Indiana, so I'm pretty sure the Wheelers are just resource-wasting assholes.
We're so screwed if it's the Demogorgon.
It's not the Demogorgon.
Man, I love these kids together. If there was an Emmy for Best Ensemble Group of Children that give off 80s vibes and somehow aren't completely annoying, they would have it on lock. Yes, Knight Rider, staple of the 80s, and we want to make sure that you know this is the 80s, but considering Mrs. Wheeler just said it was a school night, and that they could finish their campaign next weekend, then Mike exclaimed that they'd been playing for 10 hours, you'd have to assume this is a Sunday, which is all well and good, but Knight Rider aired on Fridays in 1983. Man, we are filling up our 80s nostalgia bingo card real fast, because we have a full-on outbreak of kids on bikes going on. This show 1980 so hard it reminds me of the time I survived on a 3-pound bag of peanut M&Ms for a week. It seemed like a great idea for a while, and then it became increasingly clear I should have thrown in some protein every once in a while. Stranger Slender Man. How is this creature unlocking this from the outside? Even if telekinesis is one of its powers, would it really know about slide locks and how to release them? Really? We're gonna do the same, thought the monster was one direction, but it was actually a different direction twice in the first 8 minutes of the show? Will is still holding a loaded gun, but for some reason decides to lower it and wait for the attack instead of at least trying to shoot. This kid has been pretty smart up until now. Why the sudden case of lamb to the slaughter? This theme, man. Sometimes a song is so perfect for a show that you wonder if it existed first and then they built the show around it. This is one of those times. Perfection. Who the hell are the Duffer Brothers? Sure, the Coens, the Farrellys, the Wachowskis have paved the way for sibling teams to be a thing, but they still also use their first names in the credits, right? I guess I'll just have to make them up then. Sorry, Abner and Basil Duffer. This is your own fault. And in this very moment, as if a new David was being chiseled by Michelangelo, the phrase dad bod became an acceptable thing to say about another human being. If the waking up hungover with multiple empty beer cans on the coffee table, smoking shirtless outside, and smoking while putting deodorant on wasn't enough to convince you this man has a pretty serious alcohol problem and nicotine addiction, let's have him chase some pills with a beer just to hit that point home.
It's you.
How did this phone get hung back up? Will let it fall after his failed 911 call. So did the Demogorgon come back through and tidy up? How considerate.
Step right up and get your tickets for the freak show.
Because Cosmo and Darby Duffer can't make sure we know it's the 80s without school bullies, meet Stranger Things' version of Tweedledum and Tweedledummer.
Midnight, frog face, or toothless?
That's racist, amphibist, and dentist.
Nance, seriously, you're gonna be so cool now, it's ridiculous.
No.
You know, if I had to pick an early favorite character for this series, it's gotta be Barb. She's such a good friend to Nancy and just takes no one's shit. She's her own person, and the depth the writers have given her will pay off for years to come. Good thing she's not going anywhere. Steve left this note early this morning, but when would he know that Nancy found it? Is he stalking the girl's bathroom from his arrival all the way until first period? I mean, yeah, probably, but man, teenage hormones are f***ed up. A makeout session in the bathroom? I'm sorry, I lived through the 80s. If there's one place we didn't make out, it was the bathroom. What teenage girl is braving this absolute germapalooza for some pre-class tongue wrestling? Also, how is no one else using this restroom at one of the busiest times of the school day? What kind of card game are these two playing, where Sergeant Random here is so carelessly showing his hand by facing backwards, and yet Hopper can save the day by moving one card around in a hand this guy's been staring at for the last 3 minutes?
Those garden gnomes again. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get right on that.
Joyce Byers can't find her son this morning.
Okay, I'm gonna get on that.
Is holding a donut in your mouth the cop version of biting an apple? Because Hopper giving a sarcastic response to a missing child report is about the assholiest thing I can think of right now. Also, Flo couldn't have led with this. Are the garden gnomes really more important than a missing child? I know this is the 80s and all, but Jesus Christ. Also, here's an extra sin just for making me say the word gnome again after barely surviving that gnome movie nonsense. And now I'm realizing I'll probably have to send the sequel. Damn it!
99 out of 100 times kid goes missing, the kid is with a parent or a relative.
I assume this statistic was bullshit, so I did some research, and Jim's actually right. Less than 1% of child abductions are stranger danger things, but you still made me do the f***ing research show, so sin you I shall. If they took the precaution to seal the gloves to their sleeves with duct tape, then why wouldn't they have taken similar measures with their boots?
This where it came from?
No, probably the other giant sentient goose-lathered portal in this lab area.
Remember, finish chapter 12 and answer 12.3.
Why in every television show and or movie is the teacher always yelling over the bell the homework assignment? Half the kids are already out of the classroom, and he should know when class ends. You can't stop a few seconds before and give out the homework assignment. And this is a very involved assignment. What if someone didn't hear the 12.3 part? Sorry, Matt, it's not my fault you left the classroom at the correct time when I was giving instructions.
Sorry, boys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
It came.
Don't these three have another class to get to? I guess hanging out with a grown adult in his office is a valid excuse for ditching.
Sorry to interrupt, but may I borrow Michael, Lucas, and Dustin?
Why is this, I'm going to say, principal pointing at and naming each of these boys? Both he, Sweater Vest Mustache, and the boys themselves already know this info. Wouldn't he just pop in and say, I need these three guys to come with me?
You ever heard of Mirkwood?
I have not. That sounds made up to me.
It's from Lord of the Rings.
Well, The Hobbit.
It doesn't matter.
How dare you, Lucas? This is exactly the reason Dustin has a job waiting for him on the Sins team whenever he wants it.
Poltergeist. I thought I wasn't allowed to see it.
As long as you don't have nightmares.
I don't get scared like that anymore.
Not even of clowns.
Spoiler alert! Also, pretty sure it's Mike that might want to keep clear of clowns in the future. Is Joyce just now looking here? Based on the flashbacks, this must be a place Will's frequently at.
A bike like this, like a Cadillac to these kids, would have walked it home.
A bike like this might also be an active crime scene, so maybe don't be moving and handling the evidence until the folks from the hit spin-off CSI Hawkins arrive, okay? Well, how nice of Chester to conveniently start barking at the shed when Hopper came over. It's almost like he read the script.
Hey! Jesus!
Light bulbs in the Stranger Things universe have great dramatic timing, especially considering the monster should be long gone by now. Are they reacting to Hopper? Is he a Hopper Gorgon?
Thanks for coming out, Teach. We really appreciate it.
She died a few years back.
sorry?
His kid.
Geez, lady, do you go around knocking down the gutters on people's roofs, too? I mean, since you seem so good at eavesdropping. Good thing there's always a town gossip around when we need to get to some heavy-handed expositioning and pronoun gaming. Few things are more 80s than the boyfriend at the window trope, and Falcon and Grover Duffer continue to mainline that nostalgia. My problem is that it never takes the time to explore the deeper aspects of the things it's referencing, meaning we spend all of our time at the surface level, which is really only the tip of the Spielberg.
You know, it's funny. Your voice, it sounds different.
Oh my god, they killed Toby. They know what Eleven is capable of, right? How did they think holding her at gunpoint was going to go down? Also, with all the 80s references in this film, not giving Matthew Modine a set of keys dangling from his pocket was a missed opportunity, no?
Which polymers occur naturally?
Starch and cellulose.
But those aren't the only examples of natural polymers, and the question didn't ask for a specific number. How would anyone pass this f***ing test?
You're an idiot, Steve Harrington.
You're beautiful, Nancy Wheeler.
As great as this show is, it definitely has an annoying habit of characters calling each other by their full name.
I've got your X-Men 134!
Like Will's gonna buy that, Dustin. You're not bringing out a mint condition copy of Too Late the Heroes in a f***ing thunderstorm. Get your nerdy head out of your ass. Sorry, I went dark there.
Why are you doing this to me? Do you hear me? Why are you doing this to me?
Time of the night, we turn on the black light. Let the Dungeons and the Dragons begin.
Boom. Boom.
Here comes the ready or not. Here comes. Are you ready to get duffed?
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle. Come on! Do it!
Morning, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick!
My name's Benny.
The bat is leaving the cave.
Roger that.
Give me back my son!